difference, one cup at a time. Yeah, this is tea time. Yeah, making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz. Tea time, making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time, yeah. Tea time, time.
Well, good morning and welcome to Tea Time. That's right, Miss Liz is back with another full week. And this morning we're jabbing it up. We're getting the music going. We're getting you moving and grooving. Make sure to grab your breakfast. Make sure that you stay healthy. Grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your juice. We really need to start getting our bodies healthy. And this morning we have an incredible guest all the way from the United States. We have Laura and Brennan Ballet. Miss Liz, come on. Let's go. We had breakfast this morning. What's going on with the mind here? But this morning we're talking about the science of empowerment. That's why we're going to do some empowerment. We're going to get you really moving and grooving and all of that good stuff. And we got a really strong TEA coming from Laura. So if you want to hear all about it, share this tea time. Get it out to your friends. Get it out to your family. Let's just share. If you'd like to leave a comment, make sure that you do register with StreamYard. Miss Liz is going to do the disclaimer. I'm going to do a quick little bio intro, and then I'm going to get Laura in here. And we're going to spill some good, strong tea this morning with all of you. Remember, tea time is not the beverage. It is about our minds and who we are as an individual. Disclaimer for Miss Liz's live tea time live shows. Miss Liz, myself, is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any tea time show hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith, however may bring forward dialogues and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All tea time guests and audience participants are responsible for where they may be emotionally at risk. It is significant to know that this show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about the disclaimer or the panelist discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to participate in today's show in any aspect, I myself, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you decide that the show is not made for you at this time, I respect that choice, and I will see you at a later show at a later date and time. And again, all tea times this year are on Thursday at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. If they are not on a Thursday, it is a rescheduled show that will be played on a Monday or Tuesday. So let me get Laura in here. Well, let me get you a little bit on Laura, and then we're going to spill some tea together. Laura, as the author of The Science of Empowerment, Laura is driven by the life force that circulates within all universal connectivity. Her passion inspires inspirational teaching, and her ability to see how energy is in everything guides her powerful messaging forward. When you are in connection with Laura, you feel the charge and the movement of energy. In real time, you become excited about your exploration into an empowered life. The energy comes alive and sparks an awareness within uplifting through and purpose. For the observer, Laura is a genic ability through her words to activate within the listener. This personal knowing that you are living potentially is inspiring. She is the ambassador of life empowerment, a global top selling author, a new thought creator and speaker, a neural energy facilitator, a life transformational empowerment coach, and a global mindset energy coach. Then there's so much more. If you would like to check out her full bio, check out Miss Liz's Facebook page. And let me get Laura in here so I can sip on some tea.
I was all jamming to the music. Oh my God, I love what is going on even before you get on. So thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Well, Laura, thank you for joining me this morning. Let's get into who Laura was as a little girl and who Laura is today as a big girl. And I'm going to sip on my tea and just take a minute to breathe.
Yeah, thank you. Probably my family would tell you and the listening audience, I haven't changed very much. I kind of came into this world just full of energy. My grandmother used to say I was born with piss and vinegar, and I never understood what that meant until I got older. But lots of fire, lots of energy, always wanting to create, and always sharing messages. Even when I was in like fifth grade, I still remember giving talks and standing up in front of the class on empowerment and how to be the best you can be. It was just something that I really feel I came into this world with. Took a long time to get here, like most of us, right? We get kind of mired down in the day-to-day of life. And then one day I just made a decision and said, that's it. I'm going for my dream. I'm going for it. And I'm going to write my books and I'm going to speak around the world. And I'm just going to do my unique way of empowering others and working together. So pretty much the same kid.
I love that you said that. I just did it because we just got to do stuff in life, we got to just quiet that little niece saying, in the back saying, oh, you can't do it. You can't. Just prove everybody wrong and just try it. If you don't try it, you don't know, right?
And not only that, but really moving out of this fear mentality, or I'm too small, and isolating our thinking, and then our energy gets very isolating. We were born to expand. We were born to evolve. Everyone. And I write about this in The Science of Empowerment, and I firmly believe that we are all full of brilliance and genius. However that looks, it does not matter. Tap into that part of yourself. The famous Les Brown, he's a phenomenal motivational speaker. He'll get anybody pumped up, but he tells a story about at the end of our life and all those could have, would have, should have ghosts, right, that surround the bed when we're getting ready to transition. And we look at those. No one else does, but we do. And I don't want anyone to have that life that where at the end they realize, why didn't I show up bigger, show up greater, believe in myself more? Who cares what anyone else thinks? As long as you have kindness in your heart and your intentions are pure, go for it. Don't wait another second.
I love that you said that, Laura, because this is what we need to bring to the table. We're bringing a strong TEA this morning to the table because we need to just quiet the opinions of other people. We just need to do what's in our. So I feel like your tea is just wanting to come out and it's screaming and it's saying, ask her, like right now, Miss Liz, what is Laura's tea? So if I give you the TEA, what words would you give me for your tea?
Yeah, I love this because I didn't know this was coming until just a few moments ago.
Because that's just how Miss Liz rolls. I
love it. I love it. Yeah, right. Because then that authenticity comes out, the real energy. You don't have time to script it and think about it. So for me, the T is time. We have more of it than we tell ourselves. So I want you to look at kind of redesigning your perception of time and know that it is never too late to begin anything. The E, of course, empowerment. We are empowered human beings. We are here to evolve and elevate. Empower your mind, body, and consciousness at every moment, and you will be amazed at how quickly you are living a very genuine, empowered life. A, attitude.
Oh, I like it.
A ball. Just become this cool designer and this architect of your life and carry this beautiful attitude. Again, always kindness, compassion, authenticity, care about what you're saying, what you're doing, and how you're interacting. But boy, have an attitude that just shines and uplifts one another. So that's
You
my
su-
cup of tea.
you surprised me with that A. I was sure authenticity was coming because you talk a lot about authenticity. If anyone hasn't checked out Laura, check out her YouTube channel, check out her website. She does talk about authenticity a lot. And I think we need to be really authentic. Everyone is being programmed, everyone is being pre-recorded, and let's just be ourselves. Let's just go messy, make a mess, spill the tea. And Miss Liz doesn't spill the tea gossip. Miss Liz spills the tea education, because we need to start educating in a different way. We need to start bringing different to the table. And this is why Laura's here, because Laura's different. So Laura, you wrote this incredible book called Science of the Science of Empowerment. I want that "the" in there because it is the science of empowerment. How did you come about writing that book, and how did you get the title?
Yeah, this is a really wonderful story. My brother, I always give a heartfelt shout out to Chris Brennan. He is the creator of the J3 = E formula. That was the spark that really launched me into creating the science of empowerment. I wanted to always know, how can we live an empowered life? How can we empower ourselves? So many of us go through a lot of tragedy. We go through abuses, neglect, abandonment. There's alcoholism. We have physical issues, diseases of the mind and the body. And I wanted to know, even if we were experiencing something on the negative end of the scale, how can we still learn how to recalibrate and empower our lives? So I saw my brother working this formula with athletes, very high end professional athletes. He's a former USA gymnastics coach. He has trained Olympians. He has worked with some very top tier people. And I would see that these human beings already were primed since they were young, most of them, to live that life of discipline, of continuity, of an empowered mind. But I wanted to know, how could I have positive effect on everyday people like myself? A mom, worked 3 jobs, had a family very fast, 2-step babies came into my life quickly, just a lot of changes. How can I use this formula to write a science behind an empowered life? And that's how the book started coming about. It took me 5 years to write it. Every word, every sentence, every verse was so thought out. How can this create new neuroplasticity in the brain? And let me just say up front, I am not a neuroscientist. I am not a brainiac. I'm not, a quantum physics expert. For any of us, we can Google everything that we are interested in to have a better understanding of it. But if you read this book, and has a lot of complexities to it. It's not an easy read. It is a piece of material so that you can reflect back to you. I know this. I am this. I've got this. It's just this beautiful remembrance of, I am important. I do matter. And I have value to add in to the collective human condition. And this is what I love about the book. So that's how it came to be. I wanted to contribute something empowering to the world and to humanity. And this is my way of doing it. So that's why I wrote the book. I actually have 2 books that will be coming out, not soon, because I have a lot going on with the science of empowerment, but I'm writing an anti-bullying book and a children's book all around the J3 = E formula and the science of empowerment.
Could you tell us a little bit more about that J3 formula?
Yeah, this is super cool. So the J stands for Jekyll, and that is JEKL, and that is an acronym that my brother created, and that represents 4 very important people in his life. I am the L in Jekyll, and there's a halo around, which is our mom and dad. And these are 5 principles and 3 fields of energy. So everyone knows that there's positive and negative energy in the world. That's quantum physics. We put neutral in there because in the human condition, when we are overreacting, when we're angry, when we're sad, when we're hurt, when we're depressed, we cannot move from negative to positive like in the snap of a finger, right? So we put neutrality in the middle of this formula. So it acts like what I like to say as a resting ridge, a moment when you catch yourself in an area that you know is negative. You know that you can empower yourself up to neutral. Just breathe, just calm down, remove yourself from the environment that is negative. And then you can slowly start to build your skill set up to what it looks like to be in a positive state more than less. So the 5 principles are awareness, willingness, accountability, critical thinking, energy. And when you use those 5 principles in that order in any given situation, and then you move to the power seat of choice, negative, positive, neutral, which one am I? You now begin to learn the art of recalibrating an old personality, an outdated mindset, algorithms that have been in our body, in our mind, in our story since we were kids. So let's just say, I use an example. My grandfather was an alcoholic, and it's really affecting me at work, or it's affecting me when I am, interacting with my particular partnership. So you start to ask yourself, okay, my awareness is there's a pattern here. I'm feeling a certain way that I used to feel, but why am I feeling that? That happened when I was 10 years old. Now, what am I willing to do about it? I'm willing to let go of the story. I'm learning to release the hold that that particular environment and experience has on me. I'm willing to do something about it. Accountability. On some level, some part of me interacted in this, even though I know this is very challenging for people to understand, because we also were bred into this victim mentality. But even on some level, on some quantum level, we pulled in an experience so we can learn from it. So even if it's something very tragic, I don't want you to stay attached to it, but I want you to be accountable that even though that happened to me, it no longer has to continue happening to me. I can begin to rewire the thought around that story. Now we move into critical thinking. This is where we take the emotionality out. This doesn't mean we don't feel emotion. It just means that we don't let the charge, the current of the emotion attached to that tragedy or that challenge, we don't let it override us and take over everything that we do in our life. So now we apply the 4th principle, critical thinking. We start to think with positive intelligence. We start to understand that I have the ability to think at a higher level than how I have been thinking prior to this awareness. Then we go into energy. All right, I'm aware that was a very negative experience. I'm going to neutralize it because I've now just applied awareness, willingness, accountability, critical thinking. Now my energy isn't so mired down in that negative experience. I'm starting to feel a bit more empowered. I honor and recognize that experience for what it was, but now I'm going to rewrite it. I'm going to actually recalibrate the energy around it so I now can choose positive energy, positive stories, positive new skills that will help me release all of that unnecessary holding patterns and really start to create some brand new empowered ways of being in the world. So thank you. I hope that helps.
Could you give me the 5 principles again?
Yes. Awareness, willingness, accountability, critical thinking, and energy. And for anyone that is out listening to this, education systems, our law enforcement, corporate, church leaders, politicians, I have every style of human being reading this book. When you bring down the complexities of the science of empowerment and you just run it right from that formula, your life will change. You will transform outdated thinking, negative patterns, the dynamics within your environment, work, school, all of it will change. And what I love about this is we actually, so my brother owns a neuromuscular training facility here in the United States, in Connecticut. And we have young kids all the way up. My um, oldest young client is 65. And then we have kids that are 4 and 5 coming in. We teach them not, again, the depth of the science of empowerment, but we teach them the J3 equals E. They know the 5 principles. They know they're in the power seat of choice. They know that when they apply the principles, they choose neutral to positive, they will become an empowered human being. And they will then be able to go out and talk to their friends, their coworkers, their leadership, and start to change. It's really an amazing formula. And I'm very proud and honored that my brother and I have this unique sibling connectivity where he was the one that really pushed me with all positive energy to write this book and bring it out into the world because of the way my mind thinks and the way I was able to take it and move the words. He just loved it. And so it's a partnership. It's a co-active partnership. And it's a real authentic example of what 2 people can do when one has an idea and one can execute on that idea.
I love that you say that because it's actually 2 minds coming together, right?
Yeah.
It's the science. It's the, you're pushing the energy, and I love the 5 principles, and that's why I got you to say them again, is the principles, because I want to talk about those because we don't talk enough about those things. The awareness,
Yeah.
the awareness of going out and looking and researching, like you said earlier in the show. There's Google. There's a lot of different engines that you can use. If you don't use Google, you can use Bing. You can use, there's so many things. You can get out there and you can be aware on your own. You don't have to wait for somebody to always feed you, you
Right.
know. And you talked about the victim mode. We're programmed to be victim, Let's take accountability. I love these A words that you're throwing out, Laura,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we really need to start taking accountability of our own lives. We need to start advocating for our own lives. We need to start pushing the awareness that there is change coming within all of ourselves.
Right.
And I love the title of this book, The Science of Empowerment.
Yeah.
It's the science of the mind. And like
Yeah.
you said, you ain't, and you're,
No.
but you went out and you got the research, you did the homework, and it took you 5 years.
Yeah.
Some people can write a book in 5 minutes, another one can take it in 5 years. I know as a writer, it's different levels and different degrees on what you're writing as well, the material, right? And I'm so glad that you had that sibling, and
Yeah.
this your brother behind you and saying, you know what, no, push. He's
Yeah.
pushing you. We need those pushers in life because sometimes we get stuck in our head, right? We're like, oh yeah,
Always.
we're gonna do it, but we're not ever doing it. We're just like, yeah, we'll do it, you know. So if you don't have a coach, I highly recommend that you check out Laura,
Yeah.
and just reach out to her and start changing the mind process and the thought process of words. And this is what Miss Liz does with tea, is I get my guests to share their tea through words, because each tea is different, each flavor is different, each life is different. So I want to get into the word empowerment, Laura, because you use that in your book. What
Yeah.
does the word empowerment mean to you?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm sure for everyone listening, we all can come up with different descriptions, but for me, it is the only way to live. And I really believe that when you tap in and tune into that knowing that you are here in physicality, in human potentiality, when you actually know that you have the ability to elevate your mind, recreate the biology so that we don't suffer through a lot of dis-ease of the body. When you can elevate that consciousness, spirit, soul, it's all good. I have, clients all over the world, whether you are religious and whatever sector that is, whether you worship a butterfly, a tree, it doesn't matter. The human condition is in place to elevate and to empower one another. And unless we have this very beautiful synergistic what I call exploration into your self-empowerment, that's when the authenticity does not show up. Because we all know what it's like if we hear someone talk and we know that they're talking about someone else's talking points, and we know when they are talking and it's pouring out of their soul, like me. It's hard. That's why I move. I'm animated. I have so much energy when I speak about a life of empowerment. I want everyone to just know that it is in you. You've got this. You are beautiful. You are remarkable. You are extraordinary. You are built for expansion. Go to your local library, Google, YouTube, anywhere. Start to look at negative energy, positive energy. What does the definition of neutral mean? What is empowerment? What is a great painter that painted something that empowered someone else to then create something else? Look at the leadership of the world, the negative and positive of what's going on in the world. Use your own mind to say, I don't need someone to tell me that leader is on the negative end of the scale. I have my own intuition. I have my own mind. I have I have a saying on my board here in my office, and I don't mean this in a negative way, so just hear me out. It says, the lion does not care about the opinion of the lamb. And I want you to understand, this is not to say that the lion is being mean and he wants to just devour the lamb and he's disrespecting the lamb. It is the metaphor for the lion knows its power, and no one can convince him otherwise. Right?
I actually like that.
Yeah.
It's not a negative, and that's what I mean. We have to change our mind thought process, right? We look at the lion as this big evil thing that wants to just eat the little poor lamb. But you know what? The little lamb is just stuck sometimes, and the lion that needs to come and scare the crap out of that lion. So the lamb starts running, right?
And if you ever look at how sheep are corralled, I'm talking like all over the world, you'll see pictures and you will see one or two will get out of that fence. He will break that. And I've taught this to my daughters. I talk about being an outlier. This is what I love about the science of empowerment. It actually starts to recalibrate the neuroplasticity in your brain to get you thinking, why am I being herded? Why am I getting stuck in this crowded middle lane? I tell my kids, and they know, if everyone's in the left lane, where do you go? Right lane, mom. If everyone's in the right lane, where do you go? Left lane, mom. Just get out, expand your environment in your mind, expand the possibility of your biology healing itself by thought, expand your experiences by empowering one another. So I always ask myself, in this interaction, how can I be in service of the other person? How can I listen to hear what they need to empower their life? Even if they don't have a clue that they're asking that, even if they don't realize subconsciously, maybe they're hurting or they're scared or they're insecure, listen and offer a positive gesture. Give them something that they can take out of your interaction that will empower their life. And I think that's just the way to live in general.
I love that you say that, Laura, because we got to gesture sometimes. We got to, and it's not that we're being negative. We're just giving you a different perspective to look at things. So if that takes you into a negative mindset, right away, we know that you're not listening. We know that you don't want to grow. So then that tells us a lot. What other steps can we take? What other direction can you take? It's like you said with your children, what path do they take? There's a bend in that road, and the bend in the road is that neutral. Do you go negative or do you go positive? It's a choice, and it's to get that mind moving. Do you want to always go in the negative, the victim mode, the poor me, or do you want to take a chance on life and grow and empower the mind and move that mind, And that's what you do with this book. And that's what you do with what you're coaching in that is you give them that bend in that road. Here's your spot. You going this way or you going this way? What way are you going? It's a choice.
And I always, it's so funny. My clients that I have in the very first session, I'll always be like, kick, scream, cry, just get it out. This is your safe space. no judgment zone. I'm going to empower you through your awareness of your own empowerment. It isn't really me. So I've got it. I've got you. I'll hang on to you. Go for it. And they are quite shocked that it's like, what do you mean? I'm like, just whoever you want to talk to, whatever you want to say, just let it out. And then I will be like, okay, on the second session, we're going to begin your experience, your exploration of what it is to be empowered. And it doesn't take very long. Even right in just again, we work through this formula and they start to realize, where's my resistance? Why am I negatively reacting to my coach? That's where the fear, the insecurity, that's where that anchor to the story, that anchor to the past of what we've told ourselves, the personality, right, that we've created to keep us safe in the illusion, that no longer works.
Yep.
Because really, if you're given the chance on exploring an empowered life or staying stagnant in a negative life, when you ask yourself that question, you know that inner voice is screaming out, I want change. I want transformation. I want to be empowered. And a lot of people are just scared. So you take your time and you work through it. You move through this formula weeks or months at a time. I don't like to have clients any longer than a year. Go. You
Yeah, we don't want to have you forever. We're here to push.
Yeah.
It's like the lion, give you that scare and move.
Yeah.
Don't stay stuck with us. Like, it's not that we don't appreciate you and want, but if you stay too long, you get into a pattern. You get into the cycle of, okay, well, I got to go to my coach. I got to go to my coach. I got to, instead of saying, let me go to myself.
Yes.
Let me look within myself. And you've used this since the beginning of the show. I have to do the work. I have to do the steps. Take accountability. We need to start really taking accountability. Stop putting the blame on everyone else that you can't do stuff. You can make personal choices for you. Oh, I can't do it because of a relationship. Oh, I can't do it because of my children. You can. You're just choosing not to. You're staying stuck. Open that mind.
Yeah. And really begin to look at, and I say this and I write about this in the book, the I is not in the egoic sense. I'm not talking I as in me. It's meaning relationship to myself so that I can then show up with you together. It really is so important for everyone to understand that you have to go through that exploration, right? The hero's journey. You have to move through it, whatever it looks like for you, so that when you join forces and come together with another, the two of you are stronger for that interpersonal relationship. If I do all the work and then I come to you and you haven't done the work, your negativity, and again, this isn't a bad thing, it's just on the scale, is going to start to drag on my higher vibration. And then I'm going to have to take that vibration and recalibrate it to make up for where you are. It's not a judgment. It's not I'm higher, I'm better. It's I've taken the time to do the work so that I'm at this vibration in my humanity, so that I can now spark that in you. But now you've got to be aware, what is your unique vision? What is your unique exploration? What does your empowerment process and journey look like? What are you willing to do now about that? Where is your accountability, staying true to this new vision, this new way of life, building this new personality, right? Up leveling the biology, talking to the cells in your body so they're vibrating in a healthy manner. Now, how are you going to tap into your consciousness, your spirit, your soul? Do it through God, do it through universal connectivity, do it through the quantum field. It's all good. Just evolve. How are you going to stop reacting and learn how to respond? There's a beautiful, tempered, energetic construct in neutrality. The minute you get into an argument, the minute you start reacting, catch yourself. What am I aware of in this moment? What am I willing to do? Where is my accountability? And in that critical thinking phase, you'll see where your resistance is. Well, I'm not the one that's going to back down out of this. You change and we'll be good. Never going to happen. You are truly the one that needs to take this empowered journey, because then you hold that, like the lion, you hold that knowing, I've done the work, I've been through it. I trust and honor my journey, and I can stay strong in it. Would you like to now see what that was? And that'll spark yours. And then you get people that are like, heck yeah. And now you start to create this community of super minded thinking people, of people that no longer settle for the story and all of what's out there in the world. Even our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents, and bless all of them, right? And honor all of them. But they put into us algorithms,
Yep.
i.e., their story, their baggage, their unhealed issues. They did the best they can or could or still do. But this is why it's so important to talk to parents before you have little humans and you bring them into this world. What have you done? Where's the work? What have you shown up for to change for yourself? What luggage are you actually carrying, opening up and dumping on them? Right? So now this is again awareness. Oh my God, I married my father. I'm dating my mother. Oh boy. What am I willing to do? Either we're going to fix this together and we're going to heal and evolve and grow, or I'm going to release you and I'm going to empower my life by letting go of that pattern, right?
Yep.
Where's my accountability? I've attracted in another life lesson. Again, how come I'm not getting it? What's up? What am I not tuning into so that I don't repeat the same discussion, the same pattern over and over again? So there's a million branches off the tree of the science of empowerment to go into, but it's really quite amazing when you decide to show up for yourself and live this authentic journey of an empowered life. And you really move through it, and it will always be moving through till the day we take our last breath. There is no arrival position. It is an ever changing, ever growing, ever evolving exploration into where can I gain more knowledge? How can I gain wisdom? Where can I see things differently? How can I learn new skills so I can recalibrate my present environment, my present mindset, so that I, again, can be in service to the greater good, the global family, humanness, and how can my energy shift so that it reverberates in a more positive way out to the collective.
I really like, Laura, this discussion this morning, because I feel we need to have these discussions more. We need to have discussions where we're taking accountability for ourselves. And I love that you say that I is not ego, because we need to feed ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to self-care ourselves. If we cannot take care of ourselves, how can we help take care of anyone else, like our little ones? And it's like you said, like, I married my father, I married my mother. Maybe those are traits and patterns that we were comfortable with. You know, we got to get uncomfortable. We got to get really messy, people. We got to really just spill and make a mess.
Yeah.
We really just need to change. And when someone says change, it doesn't mean a negative thing. It means that maybe they see something within us that they need to change as well. You know, it's a mirror. It's like, I see Laura this morning and Laura sees me this morning. And here we are bringing a strong tea to you out there. It's your choice. If you want to change, if you want to go negative, that's a choice. If you want to go positive, that's a choice. We need to start taking accountability of our choices. Stop blaming, stop complaining, just do it. Stop talking, just move. And because the lion's coming for you, but not in the way that you think it's coming. It's coming to make you move.
Yes, in a beautiful, profound way. And it really is a state of thinking. I write about this and talk about this all over the world, about redesigning the architecture of thought itself so that we can dissolve these patterns, these outdated algorithms, right? So we have this amazing technology in here. We can enter in whatever data we deem necessary, and we can actually delete all other data that does not serve us well. So you have to think, What am I listening to? What am I watching? How am I eating? What books am I reading? What are my conversations like? How am I showing up in my environment? How am I altering the conditions of this dinner party, an event at my children's school, watching the baseball team, getting into political and religious and spiritual conversations? What am I bringing into the mix? Is it negative, positive, or neutral? Am I open? Am I expanding this environment, or am I coming in with this contraction already? Preconceived judgments, right? Assumptions, blame, guilt, victim, whatever it is. I want to ask the listening audience, as you go out into the next day, whenever you're listening to this, go into your day as if you were positive intelligence in motion. You are brilliant. You are genius. And I don't mean, again, that you have some label and you look a certain way. I want you to wear the energy of a human being that knows that it has causation on the other human beings. And do you want to add negative or positive effect into the environment of the whole? And if you ask yourself this every morning, am I negative, neutral, positive? What is my choice? What am I willing to do today to bring positivity into my day? Even if you're all by yourself for the whole day, beautiful. Create a positive day with yourself, your kids, your partnerships, your business meetings, your podcast, all of it. Make a decision. And just for 24 hours, obviously, but go to sleep with your positive attitude. Empower yourself because you got the time, like how I wrap that cup of tea around.
I love it. I love the way that you
Bring,
just move it around, right? Keep the
bring
mind
this,
going.
yeah, bring this beautiful attitude of, I've got this. Even if I'm a little scared, I'm a little insecure, I'm a little hesitant, I'm going to read this book. So, not to interrupt that thought, but I have people that read one verse a day and practice something that they got out of that verse. I have really cool power quotes that are all through the book. I have people all over the world that take out power quotes and stick them all over the place, in a pocket, in a briefcase, in their kids' lunch, just everywhere to remind everyone we are in the power seat of choice. No one has direction over us unless we give them the okay, the green light. Do not welcome in anyone that is messing with your mind, your cellular health, your soul, spirit, consciousness, well-being. You are a lion. You are an empowered human being. Take on that knowing. Don't be mean about it. Don't be hurtful about it. Don't be judgmental about it. Don't have expectations that anyone even will recognize what you're doing. This is your journey. You do it to authenticate your autonomy in this lifetime. You deserve that. It's your birthright.
So you did mention the word podcast. So I want to get into, Laura does have a podcast, and this is what we do is we collaborate and we work together and we support one another. Just because she does a podcast doesn't mean that I can't have her on my podcast. We need to open up the minds and energy that we can all support one another, and we can all bring different. So Laura, you have a podcast. So you want to share a little bit about that podcast?
Yeah. So originally I started and was really going to create the Science of Empowerment podcast, but something amazing. And just to support what you just said, I was on a global podcast out in Africa, virtual, and the tech guy behind it, for some reason, just heard me speaking, caught a little bit of my bio, and ended up staying on the podcast, meaning he didn't just kind of click it and then do his own thing on his phone. He got very involved in what I was saying and reached out to me. And out of thousands of podcasts that he did for this, team that put this event on, he said, I've never done this. So there's something here. So his name is Stefan Hoffman. And we now have co-created a new podcast together. And that's called The Shift and Co. And it is all around the science of empowerment. The J3 equals E formula is at the base of every conversation. And we are just having an absolute blast creating. And just like you said, always looking to be reciprocal to all of the people that we come in contact with. We have people that want to be on there and affiliate with products. We have people that just want to share the love. And so it's amazing. So we're doing this together. We started it, stopped, and now we've relaunched it. And it's just phenomenal. And he and I actually do something very interesting that some of your listening audience may love. We have a coaching program together where Stefan reads tarot cards for that coaching session, just to, again, expand your mind. This isn't any voodoo woo-woo stuff. This is just all based on ancient wisdom, where some civilizations were created from this ancient knowledge. Numerology, understanding the geometry to the stars, it's all coming into focus here in our human condition, just very slowly. So he'll read it, and then that person comes over to me, and then we run the J3 equals E formula, and I coach them on that new awareness. How can I tap into wisdom and insight and spirituality, or my connection to God? How can I look at things from a new perspective of expansion, of positive observance, and not continue or allow myself to be contracted into this very narrowed way of looking at life? And when people ask me, do you believe in God? What do you think about Jesus? How does the Quran look to you? How do you, view the Kabbalah? What do you think about, Tibetan religion, the Dalai Lama, every book that they can throw at me? It's all beautiful. It's just someone's mind expanding. Why would I can't tell you about God. I am not that evolved. If I was, I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be next to God. I can't tell you about Jesus. I can't tell you, is the stories in the Bible true? I can't tell you, is there one God or 15? I don't know how many universes are out there. Why would I limit my mind to something that I don't know? Why not entertain and bring in to your mindset all is possible in this world? Whatever you can think and dream, you can create. I love this saying, the Abraham Hicks. She talks about this. They have phenomenal books out there. We do not truck in resources off the planet, yet we continually expand on our resources, metaphorically, physically, financially. How are we continuing to create? We're not putting an order out on Amazon from Mars, and they're not shooting it down in a rocket to us. It's because all thought is creative, and all creation is here to be manifested. And the only way we can do that is by thinking big, dreaming bigger, believing in ourselves, believing that we are no longer small and isolated in our present environment. If you feel that you're stuck somewhere, start to use the mind to get you unstuck. Think beyond your present condition and go outside for help wherever you need to. Reach out. There are local places that you can, again, like we talked about, we can go to the library and read a book. We can sit in on an author's podcast. We can visit the power of Teatime. We can start to learn and expand and grow and change. And I also love to leave the audience with a new acronym around the word fear. So many of my clients use this word and talk about this word. And we don't use it in our training facility. It's not even in my vocabulary anymore, other than for this point. I want you to remember, when you get scared and insecure and you feel small and you don't feel like you're important and you don't have any value, I want first for you to remind yourself, you were born into this physical body to tap in and tune into your brilliance and your genius. And when you have a contracted feeling or thought, when you begin to doubt that, I want you to remember this. You are forever empowered and resourceful. The word fear no longer is in your vocabulary. That's just somebody made it up somewhere and we all hung on to that old story. Now you are going to learn how to recalibrate in real time that next time you feel fear, which right under the umbrella is fear, insecurity, depressed, all of that. I want you to go in and remind yourself, I am forever empowered because you are, and resourceful because you are. I promise you, if the lion was chasing you, you would find some way to survive. But now you don't need to be chased by the lion and you don't need to survive. You now are in the power seat to thrive and live an empowered life. So please don't forget that. Don't doubt yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Laura. There's so many good tools and tips here. There's so much information that you're sharing this morning with us on Tea Time. You know, listen to this podcast at your own pace. You know, re-listen to it, share it, reshare it, you know, and put in hashtag replay if you're listening to it later. You know, you don't always have to tune in to the live show because the live show automatically within 2 hours is put onto all the podcast stations. So, you know, Miss Liz is not here for the numbers. Miss Liz is here for the impactfulness that I'm bringing to the table, the different flavors, the different blends. Do it at your time. Do it when you're ready. You're on that neutral path. Are you going to listen to the negative podcast or are you going to listen to a positive podcast? A podcast that's going to give you the information to move you, not move me, move you. Because Miss Liz cannot serve anybody else's tea but myself. That's why my guests serve their tea. And that's how we serve tea at this table is we serve others. We serve what they have to bring to the table. You know, it's not me, 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 me. It's I am taking the time to learn what Laura has to serve. I am taking the time to serve the listeners out there. I am taking the time to improve my life through my guests because I learn something from each and every one of my guests on Tea Time. So we're almost at the hour, Laura. So I want to bring it back to the personal Laura spot time, you know, because I asked this all my guests, what's one word that describes you as a person? And you gave me the word energy. And I can see that through this tea time, you know, the energy is rocking. And then I also asked you what your favorite color was, and you said sky blue. And I'm like, sky blue, but all I see is green, 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 green. And even when I was doing the video, I was like, green. The green was coming to me. It was the green of the mind. But why sky blue and why the word energy?
Oh, yeah. Well, energy is in everything. It literally is in everything. And for most of us, the mass population, we don't understand that. We think solid material is solid and doesn't have a vibration, doesn't have a life to it, but it really does. It's just condensed so tightly that we no longer see or sense the vibration. So I really want everyone to look at your world and know that there's energy in everything. Be mindful of that. Even the desk that I'm at and the chair we're sitting and everything we're doing, someone took time to create, put it together so that we can enjoy that energetic output of what they dreamt in to manifestation. So energy, it's how I live my life. I'm always checked in, tuned in, tapped into negative, positive, neutral. How can I up level this interaction, this experience? Because there's just nothing like it. Sky blue, because I absolutely love looking up at the sky when it is that color of sky blue, when there's not a cloud in the sky and it's vast. Same way I do at night at the midnight sky. I love that beautiful contrast of the daydreaming and the night work in our dream state. So I look at those two beautiful examples of how the human condition can be empowered during the day with the expansion and the freedom looking up, right? There's no dark clouds. You know, I know different colors and even beautiful thunderstorms are lovely too. It was my favorite thing with my grandmother. lightning and thunder. But I just love sky blue. I love the color. And it reminds me of summer days and the beach and the ocean and the freedom and the playfulness and bare feet and grounding into the earth. So it's probably why I love it so much.
I love that you bring all that energy into a color. You know,
Yeah.
when there's a reason for this question, because colors also mean something
Mhm.
to us. You
Big time.
know, some people like it just because they like it looks good on them. They wear it. They like, you know, but when you really get into the color and you really express why that color, why,
Yeah.
and you gave me a certain blue, and I love when my guests do that. They don't just say blue; they say sky blue, royal blue, you know, cobalt blue, periwinkle blue, you know, because there's a different flavor, a different lightness, a softness, a heaviness. You know, there's different ways of us looking at colors. It's just like looking at words. When we look at the word empowerment, we're
Yeah.
not like telling you to boom, 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 boom. We're saying empower the mind. Take the time to take care of you. You know, it's about self care, the science of the body. Take care of the body, you know, and that's why we do the morning, the afternoon, and evening show, because we're taking care of your mind, body, and soul, because at different times. And that's what you had served me, was the time, you know,
Yeah.
redesign, you know, designing the empowerment.
Yeah.
It's just truly magical. It really is
Yeah.
empowering.
And
And
back quickly. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was going to
no,
say,
no, go ahead.
and the green too. This is one of my brothers. He actually created this color. He had it made, and it's labeled Jekyll green. And this really is for the power of energy and how we feel about it. There's something in this color that when I designed a line of workout apparel, very small for myself, all around the science of empowerment. And it has all the Jekyll green and stars, and everywhere I go, people are like, I love the green, because it isn't about the color. It's about the energy that sparks something when someone sees it. So I love how you just also expressed color is not just that visual. It really has a feeling and an energy to it. And that's why, again, the sky blue, the Jekyll green, they're in place for a reason. It's really to spark something for the person listening. And now when they think about a sky blue, maybe they'll be like, wow, I never thought about the sky and the expansion. My soul can expand. My mindset can expand. Wow, sitting out with my feet in the grass and having a cup of tea and just giving myself 5 minutes could heal my biology. My cells will start to know that my mind is messaging something. There's just this beautiful synergy in mind, body, consciousness connection that when we allow ourselves to tap into it, we automatically become empowered.
Right. And I really, really want to thank you again, Laura, for joining me, you know, because this was a really empowering cup of tea this morning. You know, this
Yeah.
is the way we got to get all our mornings started. You know, let's just tune in. So again, if you're watching the replay, push hashtag replay into the comments. And if you would like to know more about Laura, check out Laura. Where can they reach you, Laura?
Yep. So www.thescienceofempowerment.com. It's even just go there. If you don't buy the book, if we don't coach, anything, there's a copious amount of wisdom and insight and knowledge that will absolutely spark this willingness to want to explore what an empowered life looks like. And we'll be uploading to Amazon very soon. I had to redo a new edit of the book to add all the speaking and all of that in there in bulk rate. But, for educators and corporate, just reach out, talk, just start the dialogue and co-create. It's so much fun. Even if nothing happens, you meet the most wonderful people.
I love it. And you put it all in a good pot of tea this morning, you know. Time, empowerment, and attitude. She threw in the attitude this morning. Like we had attitude, the lion and the lamb, but we
Yep.
went and took that lion and lamb in a different direction, because you know we have to change the perspective of how we look at things. And Laura also gave us the positive, the negative, and the neutral. You know, and go and grab yourself a copy of this book and reach out to Laura. You know, if anything, and when you're grabbing a book, please leave a review, because it does help the authors as well. And again, Laura, I really want to thank you for joining me today on Tea Time. And I want to thank all the viewers and listeners, all the supporters. I do see you, even if you don't pop in and say your name. Miss Liz does see you, because I get all of those notifications. So I will be back at 3 p.m. with a second tea. And today is a flavor of empowering leadership and striking terror, but a terror in a good way. This is what we do on Tea Time. We serve different types and different flavors. And today we are only in the United States, but that doesn't mean that your country cannot tune in and listen to Tea Time. We are here for everyone. Diversity is a thing that Miss Liz does serve at Tea Time. So again, I will see everybody at 3 p.m. with Terry Tucker, where he will be coming in with the motivational check. So we're checking you out today. So again, thank you everybody, and I'll see you at 3 p.m.
Have an empowered day.